All right, so now we are officially recording. This is Sunday Market Outlook, November 17, 2024. I got Mr. Brent Badal in the building with Michael Ramesh, aka Mikey Trades, here for his first time on Sunday Market Outlook. So if you're watching this recording, shout out to you guys. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Brent, kick us off with some news, bro. Appreciate you, and let's get it.
Let's get it. Time to go on to the news. Some exciting news this week. So obviously, as you guys know, I say this every single week. Do not fall with the smoke on the news. We use the news in our advantage. The news is our tool. It's nothing to be afraid of. We're just going to know when the market likes to pop a little bit faster than normal, and we're going to take advantage of it. That's all it is. So news right now, we're good. Chill. Nothing to worry about, obviously, on a Sunday. Monday, we're really kind of chill too. There are a few FOMC speakers. This one's interesting to me. I say it every single week, guys. Housing market. Always pay attention to the housing market. The housing market and the McDonald's stock. Those are your two number one lead indicators. The housing market will tell you about recession. McDonald's stock too. Those are like the two top things that you always look at. I know it sounds crazy to like even compare them, but that's the truth, right? You look at both of those. So housing is always important right now. And this one's going to be the market index. So it's really going to paint us that picture of what we're going to look at for the housing market, right? So those are interesting. Then as well, the TCL long-term purchases. So tomorrow, Monday, we don't really have nothing big as far as to trade with on the news, nothing really to worry about. We're good, clear day. Just it's more the fact of for our day-to-day lives and kind of start painting a picture for the future, where things going are. So we want to look into that one. Tuesday, start getting a little bit more action here, right? We have building permits, we have housing starts. Again, same thing. They're all in that same housing market. We want to pay attention to that. We have the G20 meetings. G20 meetings, we don't really see much. I mean, it's all about global economics and stuff like that. A bunch of countries get together, whatever. Nothing really crazy that we see there as far as the market. Again, it's just good information to see. But again, Tuesday, very chill. Building permits is orange. Interesting. I don't see why it would be. So again, it's interesting to see where things are. Maybe with the whole election situation being done now, there's another vision now as far as the building side of things for the permit. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But again, news just like Monday, Tuesday as well will be the same thing. We're just looking at it more in the perspective of the housing market as a whole and looking at what has to do with like recession indicators, right? Wednesday, crude oil, another one that everything between the wars happening, not happening, all this other stuff. It's important. I think that's why it's orange too. So we're going to see where that falls into. A few FOMC speakers, nothing to worry about. We're good. Thursday, unemployment claims. Thursday is going to be the day for me, and I love the time that it's happening. It's happening at 7:30 Central Standard Time. As we know, gold and NAS both like to take a little bit of a move, either up or down, but they like taking that little impulse, that little jump, an hour before the opening bell, which is at 7:30 a.m. Opening bell is at 8:30. So we see that move. And I love that this is happening at that same time. Philly Fed manufacturing, we've seen that move the market a lot too, and it's happening at the same time. Two completely different news, but they're both happening at the same time. This should really give us a nice big push, a nice amount of volume to happen. And I like it because even if you can't trade it because you don't have the news add-on, it's happening at a good time. We'll have that impulse happen at 7:30. And if it goes really up and it needs to come down and retrace, guess what? It's going to do that at the opening bell. So it's good. I like that it's happening at that time, right? And we don't have no news happening all week. And to have unemployment claims, that's huge, right? So excited for that. Throughout the day, existing home sales, again, another indicator for recession stuff. So again, just paying attention to data really. But 7:30 is the only time we're really going to trade news. If you do trade news high impact at that time, like I do, that's going to be a good day. And Friday, we have a bunch of news on Friday, really globally at that point. Fridays, I'm not huge on trading, but then there's days where we just find trades like the one we found last Friday, which smashed that NAS trade was amazing. So, hey, we might find another one this week. So it's cool. Flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI, consumer sentiment, inflation expectation. So we have a lot of news compressed at that time. That should be really interesting too, because we'll have the opening bell happening at 7:30. Opening bell happening at 8:30 Central. 50 minutes later, flash manufacturing, flash services. 50 minutes after that, revised consumer sentiment, revised inflation. So it's like, bam, right after the other, we have them all 50 minutes compiled. And Friday, typically the market likes to correct. I always like to look at it this way, like you have companies, institutions, the whole nine, you have actual stock market people saying, hey, this is your quota, this is what you have to meet by Friday. And you see this for those that are actually in Wall Street or have been in Wall Street, that you see that that's how it is. Like Sunday market opens, this is your quota for Friday, or else. That's why we see the market move a lot the way that it does Friday. That's why I don't trade much on Fridays unless I just love the setup. Then we take it. Obviously, we follow proper risk management. So if it hits a stop loss, it is what it is. But we go ahead and take that, right? So I'm super excited for Thursday. It sounds crazy, but I'm actually excited for Friday too, just because of the timing that everything happens. It's going to be a really good Friday. I have that gut feeling. But that's it for me on the news side of things. Pass it back to you, bro. Where did my screen go?
Awesome.
Oh, there you
Awesome.
go.
Awesome. So, awesome, guys. We're gonna go ahead and start diving into some charts here, really quickly, just because I know that we all kind of will give input, I think, on the indices and gold together. I want to let Mikey, just cover. Do you have any FX stuff that you want to go over, bro? Any pairs?
Yeah. I got JPY pairs I'm looking at
Okay.
mainly. I don't really see anything else that's crazy. I'm looking at gold and just JPY pairs, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll knock out gold together, and I know me and Brent do trade indices. If you want to tackle that when we do that as well, but I just want to give the floor for FX. If you have any insight for the week on something that's juicy or something that you see, bro. So you should be able to share screen and everything if you'd like. And I know you got some really clean charts, bro. So I'm excited.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
I see it.
Okay, cool. So pretty much, guys, what I see cooking right now that I'm very, very attracted to are pound yen sells and euro yen sells for a couple different reasons. So, I mean, straight up, when we look at the chart, you'll see that euro yen and pound yen look pretty much identical. So these two pairs are usually in unison. Sometimes one may present a better entry than the other. And then when it comes down to like actually taking the trade, I literally would just pick the one that has maybe like that extra news push that day or that slightly better entry, but they're pretty much identical. Now, what am I looking at and why do I think this is juicy? So when we look at, the chart on the high time frame, so for those of you that have been on my sessions this week, you know that my approach to the charts is a top-down analysis method. So I always like to begin my analysis on the higher time frame and then work my way down. So starting off on the daily time frame, we see here that we have some rejection behavior at this area of resistance or at this area of supply on the daily time frame. You see first, and I'm going to zoom in a bit more to make it as clear as possible. First, we had the initial push up here, followed by a rejection. Then we came and we actually created a lower high on the daily time frame. On the 4 hour looks way cleaner. The daily is like, okay, looks kind of messy. So daily, you see the idea that we're seeing rejection at an area of supply. Like Rich, I also like to trade supply and demand. For me, supply would just be a high time frame area of resistance, kind of like the daily, something with a lot of weight to it and liquidity. Now, you can also see that the zone I'm looking at, guys, is pretty much a zone between 199 and 200 round psychological. So another thing that I look at in the market is, when you see confluences. Now, for those of you that don't know what that means, confluence is a series of confirmations or alignment in the market. So in this situation, when you see an area of supply or a high time frame area of resistance lining up, right? So you have like weeks and months of data here to go off of, but then you also see it happen around psychological level or a quarter level. You may have heard that before. It's showing you that the market has an agenda on the higher time frame, that there's something else that this market is cooking, and then that's the market that I love to actually go ahead and trade. So GJ is one of the pairs that I specialize in. It's mainly going to be GJ, gold. I do trade an occasional indice US 30, but I really specialize on my forex and my gold. So here we already caught one sell on GJ earlier this week. As you can see, it kind of follows the same high time frame analysis. I'll kind of just leave like little arrows here just to indicate what I'm showing you guys. First rejection, lower high. So for me, obviously, up until this moment, like right here, if I were to look at GJ at this time, I'm super bullish on GJ just because of all this price action, right? But based off of what happened from this moment forward, that shifted my perspective of what I'm looking for. This is all part of the high time frame analysis. So now when we put all of this data back, well, cool. You see one rejection here, second rejection, and then obviously you see a high, a low, a lower high, and then you see price continue to stay below this range. So for me, I am actually bearish on the pound yen. As you can see, I have a sells below target. I have one here and I have another one here. Now, I am not the biggest fan of taking a trade on a Sunday night just because, I primarily trade New York session. So that can sometimes conflict with my trading plan. I would take a trade on a Sunday night or any Tokyo session if it's an A plus setup. But for me right now, I would like to prefer just allowing the market to develop a bit more before actually considering to take a trade. So I'd like to see what actually plays out tonight. I want to see what happens during the London push, and I'll look to trade the continuation of that during New York tomorrow. So then now I'm trapping price to like a general range I'm looking at. As you can see, we had the rejections from this area. We created a low here. We created another lower high there, and then now we created a lower low. So what price has been doing is sweeping liquidity from the downside. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that kind of ties in with smart money concepts. If you've never heard liquidity before, liquidity just means money and orders, right? So essentially here you see that price came, and right around market close of last week, we had an aggressive push and liquidity sweep or liquidity grab, meaning that now the market took out this low and created another low. So now it's showing another agenda kind of going on with the pound yen. And then being that we're off of a double top order flow shift from this, round psychological area that I indicated in the beginning, that's fueling my bearish bias, meaning that I feel that based off of what I'm looking at right now, I think sells have the highest probability. So I am looking for a very juicy sell on GBP JPY. Obviously, there's kind of like this entry opportunity here, but what I would prefer to see is we got this break. I would like to see a break of the current low, testing that as resistance. And for me, that would indicate the highest probability trade to send out to you on like a tap to trade, for example. I only want to take really high probability setups when the momentum is already confirmed in the market. I don't want to play any guesswork. I don't want to send out any like mid trades. I'm genuinely doing my best to, even level up my trading and make sure that I'm sitting on my hands until that perfect opportunity. So in my opinion, that highest probability opportunity would be a break and close below this current low and retesting that area as an area of resistance, continuing like the lower low, lower high bearish formation. Now, another reason I'm really, really attracted to this trade is because when you look to the left and the area of where the pound yen is right now, you're going to notice a lot of imbalance to the left. Like price has not been in this direction, in this vicinity since literally the beginning of October. For the last month and a half, for the last 6 weeks, even since like end of September, price has literally been flying up and making, higher highs for over like, what is this? 190 to 200. It's about 1,000 pips, right? That's a lot of price action. So naturally, when price is really overbought for a certain period of time, you're going to notice some imbalance in the market. And then that's kind of where, these liquidity concepts come into play. So with that being said, as long as price stays below this 196 area, I have sells below 196. So that's pretty much my main bias, is that I'm looking for sells below this price point. Now, obviously from 196 to 194 is a huge 200 pip range. But for me, once we clear this low, we're going to have the higher probability for the extension. Another concept that I trade with is something called Elliott waves. So pretty much what I'll be looking for is a breakout wave from here. I'm going to be using this low and this one here pretty much to kind of like show what I mean. But essentially what we're looking for is a break and a retest under here. So I just fucked this up. We have a high, a low, a lower high, a low. We would have a retest, and then we would have the distribution, right? So I'm looking to pretty much take out this move. I want to take a trade underneath this area for the reasons that I just explained. This would be a 4th to 5th wave movement on the Elliott wave. And then I'm also targeting the imbalance at the bottom. So granted, since this is the 4-hour daily time frame, these pip ranges are like massive. We're not going to hold this for 400 pips, obviously, but I'm going to be using this high time frame range, this entry, this volume to be looking for sells below this area. So you can definitely expect to see GJ sells from me on your tap to trade or trade alerts once we break and close below this area. And that's pretty much my analysis on GJ. And as you can see here, like, look, even just as price just now literally touched this area that I just highlighted, you see that we have an aggressive push to the downside. So if we had taken this like 30 minutes ago, we'd be up about 60, 70 pips. So you can already see that when you trade off of high time frame structures, you're going to get really aggressive movements, that kind of favor your direction and your bias. So with forex, there are some definitely juicy setups. Once again, GJ and EJ are identical. So if GJ does this with a big wick rejection and it's going like down, so will EJ. Which one do we take? It'll just come down to whichever one looks cleaner. But that's pretty much my analysis on the yen. So hopefully that was clear and you guys are going to be looking for sales with me. That's it.
Fire, bro. All right. Can you hit the stop share screen button real quick? There we go. Awesome. So you guys already know what's up with GJ. Please, if you guys are on akashx, make sure you guys look out for that TTT or trade alert, depending how Mikey sees fit for everybody to eat off that trade. But awesome, bro. Appreciate that. We're gonna go ahead and cover gold now. I know that akashx has to be like the #1 like company with gold trading. Like, there's just no freaking way, bro. We have like, so many people that do it and catch the moves. It's crazy. But I'm gonna let Brent take lead on gold real quick. And then I'll give some of my input and we'll keep it pushing from there. So Brent, you can do your thing, bro.
Cool. Let me go ahead and do that. Where did my screen go? All right. I don't know what I did to my Zoom. You guys can see my screen, right? My trading view?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Thank you. All right, so gold. Gold, we had a nice little drop. It went down bearish like what we wanted last week. Well, we analyzed on the market. I wanted it to come down, came down. Obviously had some very weird wicks. It was just not stable, but it still went down on that big move that we were looking. Right now, we open super bullish. Right now, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's supposed to be rumors about like the US is sending missiles and all this other weird stuff. I don't know. I think it's kind of fake. I haven't found like an actual source of it, if it's real or not. But I think that's why possibility of that opening bullish plus Bitcoin doing what it did over the weekend. So there could be a lot of reasons why it opened really bullish, but still with gold, it's kind of two scenarios here as always. I would love for gold to continue going down, kind of do the same thing of what we had here. We had this little square, then up, square, breakdown, breakdown, breakdown. It's been doing that very much, right? So I think we should have that same pattern, kind of wake up and then continue dropping down. If we go on to more of the 1 hour time frame, and I know I have a bunch of stuff on my screen, guys, but I'm just trying to go quickly here so we don't take much of the time. We have all of this action that we've been speaking about for a while now. Like all of this that happened since May has not been taken care of for sure since September. September area is one that I've been speaking about for a minute now that we went up and it's been not been taken care of. Typically, we always see that 50% retracement, right? Market goes up, 50% retrace, the institution takes out the stop losses and then continues going, right? To make sure that only the institution goes and not all the retail traders like us. So we have not seen that retrace since August, September. Especially since September, we've not seen that retrace. We need to see that. And we are super close. So I think we should probably see more of a slow little bearish movement. But then again, there's not a lot of news to happen right now, as we spoke about already. So there's not that much that I could see. If it goes up, in reality, I don't see it going past 2,700. Like that's kind of what a focal point for me. Like the max that I could see it going to is at 2,700 and selling off again. If it breaks off this, I'm not gonna like gold for a minute because I just don't like gold when it's bullish, when it's up into those zones where it's just brand new, it's doing what it does. You could see it from last week, we could see this month. It just hasn't been really that clean when it comes to gold. So I really want this to continue this bearish pattern, this bearish trend, continue downward, keep on taking care of all of these zones that we need to take care of. I'm gonna turn off this really quick, hide all. I really wanted, like I said, to continue coming down to come take care of all of this right here. See, it came up, down, up, down, down, up, down. It does that nonstop, right? What happened in September? Up, never came down. Like this drop needed to come down here and it did not. And ever since then, we've been doing all of this until finally now this week we had that nice bearish rally. So big bear rally. All of it had their 50% retracements except this one right here. So that's what I'm saying. I think this could go up, but I don't think it'll pass this 2,700 and then continue dropping down to take care of at least what we had here in September. If it breaks down what happened in September, then we continue Bitcoin more. Not again, not super excited right now with gold. I'm more excited with NAS, but I'll pass it to you, Rich, so you can go over anything on gold that you have, and then we'll talk about NAS.
All right, fire. So let me share my screen here real quick, and you guys should be able to see that now. So here's what we got cooking for gold for me. And also, I want to make sure that we also cover some crypto stuff. If you guys are excited for crypto, I already see some heads. I see some heads like, yeah. If you guys are excited for crypto, let's drop some energy in the chat, bro, because I mean, it's that season. And last time I checked, Brent called like a trade for Cardano that did like almost triple.
It's 130 something percent now growth.
I'm just saying, bro, that was a free one on Sunday Market Outlook. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But let's talk about gold here real quick. So the way I do, so I've only really been trading NAS, right? Everybody kind of knows that, but I trust my analysis as far as understanding things like supply and demand, smart money concepts, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Brent, shout out to you, bro, because you have been anticipating the sells for a while, even when things did not seem like it was ever going to stop. What goes up must come down, bro. I mean, there's cycles, you know, and at some point, like things are just overextended, man, you know. And obviously, like in hindsight, it always looks easy to see that, but Brent, you know, was really on point. I think I don't know if it was Elliott waves or whatever the case it was. Yeah, you see, you know, it gave us the real jump on it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I know that unfortunately a lot of people, you know, you suffered a pretty strong, a pretty tough week this week right here. Because this was the first week where we had a huge gold meltdown, right? But really from that point on, it was clear that, man, like this type of fall off here hadn't happened in quite a while. I think this was the closest type of drop off, but you saw like an instant recovery pretty quickly. With this week, man, it was just like, yeah, slight recovery. And once it broke new lows, like that was just the warning signs that this thing was ready to just crash. And, you know, just like Mikey broke down with GJ, right? Concepts like liquidity, overextended markets, like it's literally what happened with gold. You know, you have things like trend lines, right? Trend line liquidity, all these little channels that people love to trade. People that trade this break of this channel ended up getting clapped, you know? So I think these concepts such as fake outs, liquidity, imbalances, they really, there's a reason why we talk about them. And I think this whole meltdown with gold was really just to take out the buyers from these positions. You know, like there's just been a lot of buyers. I mean, if you weren't buying gold for the last couple of months, I mean, what were you doing, right? And we caught it here in akashx. I mean, the gold wave was caught. And Brent also called the NAS drop. So we're not missing moves here, you know? So we'll talk about NAS in a second. But I think where we stand right now with gold, we've taken major liquidity points. I think this was the beginning of a big run. What you guys always want to do when you want to see like intention in the markets is ask yourself, where did price go counter to the major trend that started the next real strong extension, right? So you see, like, if I'm not gonna use bar replay because then it's gonna go crazy here, but you guys can see like a week like this where the market slowed down and had this one candle that just absolutely melted right here, right? The first thing everybody's going to do is run to sell because people are going to react to big candles all the time, right? But that was the catalyst that really led to this entire big movement, right? And that means that there's a lot of money sitting here. So when we had this gold drop happen, you can see how we took out that low and we started seeing some reactions around that area. That's not an accident, right? And now we're seeing the same thing with the next major low point right here, where price basically had been grabbed and now we have shifted structure. However, I see that we're like in a pivot point here where we're going to make very big decisions about the overall like trend for gold, at least for a while, maybe for the whole week, based off of how we react to this exact zone right here. Because just following like market structure, you guys have seen diagrams very simply where like you have a leg up and then you see the shift, right? And so price comes, makes a new low, retraces, makes a new low, retraces, makes a new low. It's like a stair step effect, right? Well, you see that now that gold is clearly trending because we had This last extension, shift of structure, price retrace, came up, retrace, came up, retrace, came down. You see like the whole stair step effect happening here, right? So that's where we're at now. We're like following the stair step effect to the downside, but we're in two different spots. The two different spots are, and I talk about this on the session, is where's the money, right? Like where is money to be made in gold? And that's liquidity. For me, we've already grabbed two major liquidity, which is these lows, and obviously everything from beyond this point has already been taken out. So all the money that was sitting in these price points is already out of the market. The second important area was this major low right here. We just grabbed that, and you can see that instant rejection from it, okay? So if we are coming lower, like Brent, anticipates that, I think long-term for sure as well. I mean, just look at the next very obvious, scenarios of lows, right? Like we have a lot of lows in this area right here. So if we are going to come lower, it'll come gunning for this 2475 area, right? So that would be the targets if we do come lower. However, again, it's going to really depend how we react here. And this is where a trade can be available as quickly as tonight and heading into New York session tomorrow. Again, this is that last pullback that we had before the market melted down, right? So I've just simple pullback area. This is the area that you're going to want to sell off of if the market structure is going to continue to go bearish. And you can see how we kind of tapped into it and left that big wick already. This last 4-hour candle, right? Let me take off this Asian range thing because that's kind of going to make it foggy here. Okay, here we go. Personally, I already see a couple things that make me instantly want to sell this. Number one, again, we're in that supply area, this last little pullback zone. Number two, we saw imbalance on the 4-hour time frame, which is this orange box, right, that we're tapping into. The second or the third confluence would be retracement areas. So anywhere from 62% to about 88, somewhere in that area. This is like a really nice discounted zone where we can expect sells off of as well. Now, for the purposes of targeting, will we make a new low? Well, here's the thing. So we made this bottom. We came up here, respected the low, and now we shifted above here. So smaller time frame wise, technically, we have shifted short-term bullish because we respected a low and made another high here. But we're going to be basically jammed in between this area and this area. Price is going to be kind of wrestling in here for a little bit. But I think there's opportunities for sells, even if I wouldn't say it's a scalp, but maybe like, I don't know, a move from somewhere in this vicinity to here, 30 pips at least, because you can already see we have gaps here from market open. We already see price rejecting with these wicks. We see a lot of imbalance. So you will see sells, I think, heading into London session for sure. Are there going to be these huge meltdown sells? I don't know, but at least to fill this gap and some of this imbalance, we're going to see a drop. It's probably going to happen pretty soon. I mean, this right now already looks like a juicy type of rejection in the area that we're looking for. Again, I don't trade gold, so I'm not going to tell you guys sell right now. If Brent agrees, somebody else agrees, you'll probably see something very soon come out. But I think that we're definitely cooking up sells here if I were to trade gold myself to at least take us into here. So I'll leave it at that. Mikey, I don't know if you have some thoughts. Well, I know you have some thoughts, I think, as well on gold. So I'll let you do your thing too, bro. Let me stop sharing here.
So first thing is that both of you guys are bearish on gold, which makes me really excited because we're all on the same page. Like I did my analysis on gold, and I'll kind of just share like what I have. I am also bearish on gold. Obviously, you're gonna see it's a little messy. I play around with Fibonacci clusters. Keeping it super simple, Fibonacci clusters, or when you use different ranges to essentially use your retracement tool to kind of find different areas of interest. So the first cluster that I used was from this previous lower high to this current lower low. And then I also went a step ahead, and then I used the previous major 4-hour swing lower high to the current lower low, just to kind of get some like ranges to see what price could be doing. Ideally, it would be the prettiest to see price drop from here, but then it went up higher. This was another area, and it's kind of like in a fib zone. So just in terms of a fib perspective, I do see a couple different possibilities. Obviously, right here, when you zoom out and you look at all this, this is a super clean area to see a lower high formed from. But obviously, for me, what the fib levels that I look for, I don't see an exact entry at this area. I definitely think it could happen, which would just throw away the fib entry theory, which happens sometimes too. But in terms of like like my strategy, I like to use the fib levels as well as confluence. Now, what I would like to see is 4 hour candle closure to confirm, because if gold closes above this little 25.95, then I think it has a really good probability of coming back this little area right here. As you can see, 1 hour, we have a 618 fib level at 2603. Now, gold doesn't like respect these fib levels to the T, kind of like how I might on forex, but it does really respect them generally, just in terms of like the areas that they go to. And obviously, the 618 has a lot of weight. The reason that, I mean, if price were to close above this little area here, there's a possibility it can come out here. There's a lot of price activity in this area. And obviously, before this major drop happened right here from Wednesday onward, it was right here, this little zone that I have highlighted, right above that 618. So you kind of see like this is where we got a huge 1 hour closure. Then we got a massive, another hour candlestick. And you have double bearish engulfings off of this particular zone. So for me, this area, like right here, this little 618 channel at 2603, somewhere in that area would be cool. Now, if it doesn't and it rejects from here, I would not look for an entry until I see something like that. I want to see a lower high formation on the 1 hour. Obviously, let me clean this up a little bit. This whole bias is based off the high time frame, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you go into the daily time frame, obviously you see that gold has been on a downtrend generally since the beginning of November. But we all know that, gold has been on a major, major bull run. So pretty much what I'm looking at is that you see on the daily that it kind of made like a higher low here, or, and in a way where it was using this as support. So for me, I want to see, some strong candle like price action behavior on higher time frames, something like the 4 hour, something like the 1 hour, just to like, give me that confirmation in terms of where I want to enter. Any area, obviously, below here and here are good places to go. But once again, like for me personally, I'd be looking for like a little intraday setup for probably like 100 to 200 pips. And for me, I would like to see some sort of shift in order flow. So, like for example, this is the 5 hour, like 5 hour, geez, 5 minute. So you see, like price came and rejected this little area here, and then it came lower, and then now it's kind of like retesting that. That's the first sign of a potential lower high. So for me to feel super confident to actually take this trade and send it out, I'd want to see a couple of these happen on the lower time frame. And if this happens in the lower time frame, then in turn, we should see a really healthy 1 hour obviously form and reject and come down below this 382 fib level, which is the reverse 618. So pretty much I'm a big like 50% trader with my fib retracements, and then the 382 and the 618, because they're the same thing. 382 and 618 are the same, 50% is the middle. So for me, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm super bearish on gold. The daily obviously looks like it's just, retesting this area, but that daily is not going to close for a little bit. So then the next thing I like to look for is just 4 hour closure. Obviously, we're not going to get any 4 hour closure on this for a little bit. So, there definitely will be, I think, sells in London, but I won't be looking to participate in that. I like to trade the New York move. So, kind of once London establishes what it wants to do, just in terms of it's going to use this area as a lower high or come out and grab and come, whatever happens, I'm just going to be looking to definitely take that short, assuming that we at least either reject this high at the 618 or we come down lower and create, lower highs and lower lows below this area. But once again, just as Brent and just as Rich just mentioned, there is a lot of imbalance to the low. And then when you look at obviously like the 4 hour, you can see that we are clearly trending down. We have a high, we have a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, so on and so forth, right? So there is definitely a huge short on gold pending, especially since, after they obviously mentioned when the market's overextended, there's going to be imbalance there. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a really big correlation trader. So I like to look at the DXY. For all of my gold trades, I use the dollar index. If you don't know what the dollar index is, in short, the dollar index is essentially the US dollar by itself. So looking at the DXY is another big part of my strategy. And essentially, if you can predict or measure the movement of the DXY, it'll give you a high probability on any USD based pair. So in order for gold to go short, we're going to ideally need to see a very bullish dollar. Now, when you look at the dollar on the higher time frame, you see that the dollar, and let's put this fib level to the side for a moment, you see that the dollar cleared a really big area of supply. So we cleared this and we broke it, and now we're creating new highs. These are the highs from like literally April, May, July. Like this is a big deal for the dollar. Obviously, with the presidential election, that's essentially what really gave the dollar the push that it needed to break this high. So the more bullish that the dollar is going to be, the more bearish that gold's going to be. That's how the correlation obviously works. So you kind of see that we do have some bullish price action on the DXY. But once again, the DXY always, always, always moves its most during the New York session. So there's a little bit of trendline liquidity here. The market's still kind of choppy. For me to feel like super, super confident to take a gold trade, I like 9 out of 10 times need to see the DXY synchronize with it. So for me personally, if I'm looking to like sell gold, hey, actually, I think I sold gold this week, didn't I? Yeah. So look, this is exactly what I did. One of my first trade alerts to you guys was a sell on gold. I believe it was this sell on Tuesday. I think it's like one of my first trades. And essentially right here, we had a bullish DXY kind of line up. And then gold was also positioned at an area of like lower high structure. So this right here is what? Tuesday at 9 a.m. So then I go back to the DXY and then I'll look at Tuesday at 9 a.m. Tuesday, 9 a.m. So yeah, right around here, when the dollar broke this Tuesday, 9 a.m., and the dollar broke this little zone, this little bullish push that we saw on the dollar is what gave me confidence to sell gold here that I sent out to you guys. So, for me, that's pretty much that. I want to see some DXY correlation to really line up for a banger gold trade. And then for that, we would need to see the dollar at some sort of area of support or like at a low. So like right now, you kind of see that there's like a little bit of lower highs being formed and it's just kind of choppy. Either, the dollar come back and retest like this area as support, come back here, bounce up. That's something that would be interesting. But once again, I'm looking to do that all in the New York session. So that's kind of like where I'm at on gold. I have a weird condition to enter, and it's the dollar being on my side. That's pretty much it. So definitely bearish on gold. I do see some imbalance in this area. I think you mentioned something about like the 2475 area. You did mention something about that, if I'm not mistaken, which would be my next zone that I haven't even like, really like given time to because I'm just still focused in this area. But obviously, same concept, previous resistance, previous support, supply, demand flip, the whole shebang. So I'm definitely in alignment with you guys. I like the fact that we're all looking at the same thing. Where is it going to actually reject and short from? We'll kind of find out tonight. But yeah, that's my analysis on gold. Definitely bearish.
Awesome, man. So, guys, we're gonna try to keep this at an hour max as always. So, we're gonna probably just try to run through NAS, keep it simple, just to wrap up and respect everybody's time and crypto as well. So, I'm not gonna spend that much time. I'm gonna be really fast. Unless Brent, you want to go first on NAS?
Uh, yeah, I can super quick. I mean, I don't have much to because I like it, so I don't have much, right? Gold, I had to go a little bit back and forth because it's like
Yeah.
same thing, right? Like I needed to either drop under 2640, go above, whatever, there's more to it, right? So let me go ahead and zoom out my mess as always. I understand my mess, guys. Don't
The
worry about
madness
it.
mess,
Okay?
but it's your the method to your madness, bro.
Exactly. So last week we had looked at what's it? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go. All right. So last week I said, all right, guys, I want this to tank because it was obviously stuck up on here. It was finally giving us same thing like what gold kind of did, what we're talking about, right? Did that pull, went up, left the gap, open, pull, bet, we're in. That's what I wanted. We spoke about it. We spoke at the levels that we wanted to see when it dropped, right? I said I wanted to go down to this 2100, it hit it. I wanted to go down 2800, it hit it. And so forth and so forth. And it kept on hitting each individual one. The last one that I wanted to see was 2300, 20,300. It almost tapped it there, opened up now, went up. So I still like this to continue to go down, to be honest. As you guys know, I'm a bear. I like selling all the time. So it's like my initial thought is always going to be sell, but I need to calm myself, look at it, and then decide. So like with gold, right? Like I'm not gonna do nothing now. If it goes underneath 40, I'm gonna sell. If it goes up to 2,700, I'm gonna sell. I just don't want to buy, but doesn't mean I'm gonna always look for a sell. So same thing, I'll always look for a sell or for a buy. So here I want this to continue coming down because of what it did, and I still want to see this area. This area since November has not been touched. Very similar to what we're talking about with gold, right? Since November, between the end of October, the beginning week of November, this whole week, right here, especially after into that first week of November, we started off the month, broke completely away, never retraced, never came back. We are so close to touching that. I think in reality, we should come back, take care of that. And I have a weird feeling that we're not going to continue going down here, at least for the end of the year. I I don't know why. Like I said this time, there's always a subconscious thing. I know that we have this area that's talking to me right here that we said last week too that needs to be touched. This area that needs to be touched. Just something is telling me that we're going to retest it one more time. It's going to fake everybody out because there's so much of a gap here. And then it's going to be like, nah, let's come back all the way up. We'll see what period of that happens. It might be one of those weeks where we have CPI, PPI, POW, like everything to kind of give us some big, crazy rejections. But at least for this week, I would love us to continue going down. Keep on coming down. If it wants to come up, let it come up to the previous high, which was at 2,900. Let it come back up there. Cool. But then after today, after London does what it has to do, I want this to continue crashing down, at least to take care of, right? This 19,800 area would be really nice for it to take care of because of all of this noise that was right here. Maybe even a little bit lower. That's awesome. But really, until we get to that point, I will reanalyze and see if do we want to continue coming down or going up. If it goes up again, it's back into no man's land. It's like I did last time. Here's my analysis if it goes up. Like I told you last week, right there. That's it, guys. If it does go up, that's the analysis. Like there is none for me because there's nothing to go back to. So I'm not a fan when the market does that, right? And that's why I like scalping because I'll look at what the last 15-minute candle done and we'll go into 1 minute and we'll take the trade, we'll take the scalp. But that's it for me for Nas. Hopefully you guys caught that sell that was sent out on last week that this one it was this one right here, our entry, whatever, our overall on Sunday. If you got in on Sunday, which I know a few of you did get on Sunday, if you took that since Sunday, I mean, we completely went down there a ridiculous amount of pips. And if not, at least that trade alert that was sent out, that was like 1,600 pips, something like that alone. So I know that Rolex was doing the math, one of the guys that we have, and he was like, bro, I bought my new account. If I would have got it, I would have made like 20 grand on that. Like he was doing the calculations. I was like, you're good, bro. Don't worry about it. We'll call another one. It's fine. But that was definitely a monster sell. And I'm so happy that I saw it at that time and I was able to share it with you guys. But that's it for me for Nasbro.
Savage, bro. Savage. All right. So yeah, I'm not gonna add too much more. I think we're both on the same page, bro, honestly, with that, which is no surprise. I mean, we're pretty much always on the same page. Um, so you guys know, like, this is very specific to my strategy with how I play the Asian range. So I don't look for entries or anything until we have New York session and we look at how Asian range plays into market structure and everything like that. But for the most part, I mean, at some point we did have to have retracements, right? We had like little baby, retracements that look like it might want to come up, but nothing really, um, what's the word? Convincing, right? Now we are having somewhat of you could say a convincing pullback, right? Because technically on the 30-minute, right, just looking at candles of supply, this is that last bullish candle that kind of created the new low. We saw it shift above now and kind of stay above. So that's technically like a somewhat structure shift. But the only thing I don't like about trusting that structure shift for like holding buys too long is that we're kind of like in the middle of no man's land here. Like Brent was alluding to, different areas that we need to see this pull back to. Now, the one thing that I can say is an explanation, I guess you could say, of why we're reacting here is Fibonacci levels. I don't ever talk about it much or like use it for my entries or anything, but I'm aware of them and I do pay attention to not really using them for entries or anything, but like I know where I can get reactions from, right? And so if we pull from the low to the high on NAS, we're already seeing that we've basically touched that 62% retracement, which in general, you guys are always going to hear like, oh, the golden Fibonacci number, whatever. With indices, 62% is absolutely very powerful. It's just undeniable. Like, especially on indices, it does have a thing to play a role. But I think that really I care more about areas of supply and demand. If you guys really look at the last pullback, and we talked about buys here before election that led to this whole impulse. This is the last pullback from this high to this low before we exploded during election week. So that's an area that I like to have marked as where price can get to again and react from, because I think if we jump over to higher time frames really fast, we will see on the daily and on the weekly. Hold on, weekly. So on the weekly, we did close a new high, but I think we are a little bit overextended on NAS overall. This is where like market structure could be tricky for people, because on one side you're seeing like, oh, we just broke and closed above all these highs, right? But we are very far removed from like the last major low on the weekly that created this entire run. You see what I'm saying? So even though, yes, you're focusing on the new high that's made here, how far removed are we from the last major low on the weekly to make this new high on the weekly, right? So I think we're due for strong pullbacks and breaks to the downside, like Brent is basically saying. So if we look at things on like a 4 hour or the daily, technically we're still bullish if we're following market structure, because you had this low and this was the last major high, and we did break and close very far removed from that. So in actuality, we should be looking for more buys deep into the pullback areas below 62% to 80% for, some type of reversal patterns to take us up, maybe back to this previous high, not necessarily to form a new high, but that's what I'm looking at right now. I don't think that this is the area that we're going to make the lower high to make a new higher high, if that makes sense. I think this is just kind of like middle of the structure retracement. The market just opened up for the new week and we've just only had sellers. So let's rebalance price a little bit. You can see a lot of the imbalance, for example, here on the 1 hour. My guess is that we'll probably see price tap into this imbalance. And if we can get a rejection and close below Asia high again, that's like my 2.0 Liberty style type of setup. And I would be targeting this higher time frame imbalance. If we get that, and again, we don't even know this is the Asia high yet because it's still 8:30. We have a couple hours left. But overall, I think that we're still due to push up slightly. But this is that area where like 20,700 psychological number, if I can get price to kind of rally and reject from there, I would like to take out this low and get back down to here. From there, I would like to buy at least, like see some type of reversal shift of structure and take this back up somewhere up in here again. So sells first, then buys in this general area. That's what I'm doing personally. So that's really it, man, for me. And we're literally at an hour now. Crypto wise, I'm gonna just give this and then I'm done. And then if you guys want to give your thoughts on any last minute stuff, let's do it. Personally, like plays, I've talked about Peloton before. You guys that have been on the sessions, I'm gonna do this really fast. I got in at 350. We had hit like 9 something, so basically almost tripled this entry from back in, man, we talked about this like June or something like that. It's been a while. But I'm bringing this up now because even if we can't get in at 350, I still think overall heading into the holidays, because we're about to go into Black Friday and all that, they're doing that big Costco sale. And I think that we'll respect that $6-7 range. And that can really propel us into the overall targets that I have into the 50-60 range. You can buy Peloton if you want. I'm not telling you to buy it. You can get it on Uphold, Robinhood, Cash App. I'm not, there's so many apps for buying stocks. You can even do it through like Schwab or, like if you want to be very official. But that's a play I'm in. Has a lot of upside for the long term, very long term. But crypto wise, XRP has been like my thing. I got in at 60, which is not even that crazy of an entry, but it doubled up. I took a majority of my profits at 120. I do expect a very strong retracement on a lot of cryptos because of the weekly time frame. I think this is a quick pump, but we can already see, like, especially XRP has a history of very quick pumps and retracements, quick pumps and retracements. So this huge dip, I expect at least to come back to 80 cents, something like that, and then I'll repurchase personally. And I think I see that across the board for a lot of the smaller stuff like Cardano. XLM is something I have my eye on. If we get some nice retracements, I'd be really interested in taking XLM to the 50s. So that's like the cryptos I'm looking at for potential big plays. XLM and XRP retracements first, and then buy. So that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna just let Brent and Mikey give some last minute words to wrap up this call. But there's a lot of opportunity, guys. Like a lot of opportunity. Whether you guys are freaking doing just crypto, whether you're doing just trading leverage with your prop firms, I mean, it's money season for real right now. So appreciate you guys. I'm gonna let these guys have the last word, and we're out of here. You're muted, Brent.
There we go. I said thank you, bro, of course, for that Peloton shout out. We're definitely going to do that because you will not catch me on top of a Peloton, but I'm definitely buying some and making some profits on it. So now I have an obviously show here. Like this, guys, is why I'm going to continue to drill in where we keep on saying this over and over again, right? This was the 801 that we called on a live session, just like this call. Back in September, like you said, hey guys, we're buying. This is where we're taking it to. Went up. You guys could have made profits, came back down to entry, went a little bit in red, back, forth. It played. Again, a month later, I said, hey guys, back at entry. If you missed it, still good. Forgot about it a little bit because we were busy with everything else. Next thing you know, boomed up in November 9th. It went up right away. Would have hit the first TP. So you would have gone in at 34 cents, 35 cents, taken it to 50 cents. Then from there, it hit our second TP. So you would have gone in at 30 cents to 70 cents. And right now it's about, they already hit our 80 cents, which is our next mark. So it kind of just shows you how there's cryptos that you can start getting into that are not $80,000 Bitcoin to buy one or whatever it is, right? There's actually coins out there. And it's something that I said in the chat, I think over the weekend, like I like utility cryptos. So there's cryptos that are rug pulls. There's cryptos that are like Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever. They're the top two big ones. We understand that. And then there's utility ones that I love. So for example, I did not know much of XRP. I wish I would had it. I actually bought 500 of it like 5 years ago. I had $500 worth. Then the whole lawsuits happened, and I ended up actually depositing that into a sports betting website to play blackjack, and I lost it all. So it kind of gives you an idea of not having that education of making bad decisions. Now, what excites me about seeing XRP though is that another crypto that I like is Link. So Chainlink, Link USD. It's not an amazing spot to buy right now, to be honest. So you can see there's been a lot of action, but this is actually good to see in a crypto. It's healthy. Like a lot of times you don't want to see just a big upward motion and that's it. Like you want to see this little bit back and forth because all that this means in a crypto that has utility is they went for something, denied. They went for something, denied. They went for something, denied. Like it's not that everybody's just selling off because it's done for and it's a rug pull. It's not that everybody's just buying and holding because it's going to the moon. Like there's actually utility for this. This one, I know that with everything else going up, especially XRP, with that going up, Chainlink will go right up. XLM going up, Chainlink will go up. ADA, and again, I'm not a crypto, I'm not a financial advisor, but it's the utility of it. So, for example, Chainlink is actually providing security to make sure that all the transactions from institutions, especially when the banks get to it. So, like, what I'm waiting for is probably what everybody else doesn't want, right? So, and I feel it's going to happen. So, when you're able to log into your bank account, right, from your app, and you see how you have your checking account, your saving account, your credit card, and then you see crypto on there, just like Coinbase. When that happens, Chainlink will be all the way like crazy. Like Chainlink will be up there, like will be the one, because that's what their focus is. They want to give that security when it goes from one institution to another institution. Yes, it'll handle retail, but their major focus is institutions. What does XRP want to do? XRP wants to get into those institution transactional side of things, right? So again, we're seeing it right now by the government and this and that. They're talking about with Elon being in and Trump and everything wanting, pushing cryptos, all that stuff. And they're already talking about XRP. I know you posted something recently, right, Rich, about the XRP thing. Like
Yeah.
that itself will push more of these utilities. Cardano, XLM is another one that I follow too. XLM right now, I mean, it's not a
XLM
bad
looking
position
juicy
to
when we get
buy.
those pullbacks, bro.
It's not a bad position to buy because at 21 cents and there's so much room for it to go
Yeah.
to, but you
Yeah.
definitely want the pullback. You want it to be, again, look at Chainlink, right? Like what I said, excellent, Stellar, XLM, it's the same situation. They tried something, it got denied. They tried something, it got like all of this, it isn't retailers just buying and saying to the moon and making it a meme. This is an actual like company trying to make this into something that's actually going to be utilized for. And next thing you know, Bitcoin went up and what happened with XLM? Boom. So you can research that, just read, go onto Google and just like, what is XLM for? What is
Yeah.
ADA for? What is Link for? Like, if you see a crypto with a weird name, just research it. Go to the educator on the akashx community. There's something that says crypto. There's a channel there. Just ask, like, hey guys, there's this crypto. Have you heard of it? What is it? Like, there's somebody there that probably will know and say, like, hey,
Yeah.
that's what the crypto is for. This is a utilization. If it attracts you, it attracts you. Go with your gut. That's the biggest thing that I could say. Don't put what you can't afford to lose, but go with your gut because with cryptos, it's just you never know. I made the mistake and I did not buy Solana. This was Solana before it came
You
out.
sound like
Like
Marianne right now, bro.
before Solana came out, I was looking into cryptos. I'm a big gamer. I saw what Solana was doing, but I was like, they're not even on Coinbase, and Coinbase is the truth. This is me not knowing nothing, right? It's like, so they can't be real. I did not buy anything, and I had $500 to put in there, and I didn't. I put it into a binary options account, and then I made it into 5,000. They didn't give me no withdrawals, and I lost that money. So it's like, again, not going with your gut, not having that education. You guys are in akashx, and if you're not, reach out to the person I invited to this call. Get into akashx. We have chats. We have the education for you to make those smart decisions and still go with your gut, especially with crypto. Right now, it is a bull run. Doesn't mean you want to buy at the high, but it is a bull run and you want to start educating yourself. So when it comes to that moment to say, hey, you know what, now's the time, you're ready to go. So that's it for me. I'll
Facts,
pass it to you,
bro.
Mike, if you want to say anything. Thank you guys, obviously, for staying
Yeah.
here past the hour. Stay plugged in. Obviously, take advantage of the promotions with TradexMastery right now, 60% off. It's crazy, crazy deals. Get yourself a 200K. Stop missing around. It's worth it. And yeah,
Facts. Yeah, real quick, and I'll let Mikey, say his farewells on his first Sunday Market Outlook. We appreciate him having tune into this call. But guys, real quick, I know a lot of you probably like you maybe don't even know how to buy crypto or anything like that. There's a lot of great educators in the platform that you guys want to tap in with, whether it's Armin, Anointed Ali. Like there's a lot of people to tap into. I just made a YouTube video. You guys can check out the channel. It's gonna show you guys like just three simple things of like how to get into an exchange, how to get a cold wallet to store your crypto, and then like where you can research cryptos online or whatever. So you guys could check out that video. This Sunday Market Outlook will also be posted on there and in the chats. So I know there's people asking for the recordings. I think there was some questions here. Oh, how often we do this? We do this once a week on Sundays. Sometimes our schedules conflict. Like Brent will do it solo, I'll do it solo. Mikey just got on board, so I wanted to have him on here. We'll have other guests. We've had Luisito on here. We've had different guests. Me and Brent kind of just did this for the community. Oof, when the community wasn't so hot, let's just say. And I think people love it. It gets us into the right state of mind for the week. Like just feeling like you're not jumping into a market cloudy minded. Like we've talked about FX, gold, NAS, crypto, like everybody feels like they found their footing for the week, right? So now when we go into it, you're not like on your heels, you're attacking the market instead of playing defense, right? That's the whole point of preparing, right? So I think we do a good job of it, and having, additions like Mikey on here, it just makes this even more solid. So the biggest thing, guys, is just do your part to grow the community. That's it. Like that's all. If you guys find value, all you gotta do is just plug more people in. Like this is the most we've ever had, I think 65 on the call. So
think
we're
so.
gonna get this to 100, 500, 1,000. We'll keep doing it because as we get better educators like Mikey on here, we have more community like tapping in. It's just gonna happen by default. So take advantage, like Brent said, of the Black Friday sale, 60% off all funded accounts. That's insane. And it has news and weekends.
Make sure you put those. Make sure you select them, guys. You need to select them and put your Black Friday code on there. If you just put Black Friday, it'll take the 60% off, but you will not get the add-ons. Select those add-ons.
Very good tip. Very good tip. So that's there. And then the free trial just launched today. So people that are like not in akashx, if you're on this call and you're not in akashx, join the free trial. If you don't know how to do it, just message one of us, message the person that put you on here, whatever the case is. We'll get you in the free trial. We're gonna start sending trades in there tomorrow. Our live sessions are gonna be showcased on there as well. My slot I think is like 7 p.m. Central. Brent, you're doing New York.
Same thing, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Same thing as
So
in akashx.
you guys for free will be able to tap into the sessions Monday through Thursday and everything. So it's a huge opportunity for you guys to get your 3 and free, for you to hit your first rank in the company. Just start like doing your part to build the brand. Because the thing is, the brand is not Josh Zweigels, it's not Jenna's. They're the owners, they created it, but it's your brand. The brand doesn't exist without the clients, without the members, without the people that are, like building it from the ground up. So just know that akashx, it is you. It's not us, right? It's everybody together, but it's the field, man. Everybody telling that one sister, cousin, coworker, like that's how we get this to the next level. So that's it from me and Brent, man. Mikey, any last minute words, bro, for your first Sunday market outlook? I know it's a little bit later over there in Miami, bro.
Yeah, man. All I want to really say is that I am absolutely fired up for this week and obviously for what's to come with akashx. We had a really productive call. I liked how all of our different styles complemented each other. I haven't done like a group trading call in a very long time, so definitely felt some like synergy between our styles and methods. So definitely really excited about it. I hope all of you guys got value. I don't have anything else regarding the charts. Looking for those GJ shorts below that area. Interested in gold shorts as well, but we'll revisit that tomorrow morning. You guys already know my session time, so check me out. If you want to come, just like learn from me. Obviously, when Rich or Brent are not teaching, that's pretty much it. I look forward to seeing all of you guys there. I would like to request one thing though. I take a little Instagram video, and I'm gonna do the classic. If you got value, drop a. So with that being
Some fire
said,
emojis in the chat.
yeah. So
Drop the
guys,
silence. Drop the
what I
silence.
want to see is that if you saw value in this chat and in this webinar, drop some fires in the chat for my boy Rich, for my boy Brent, and for the new educator on the blog. Show some love if you guys saw some value.
Let's go.
Damn, that's incredible. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Let's have a super bullish week. Mad love. That's it for me.
Let's get it.
Peace.
All right, guys. Much love. The recording, I'll try to have it literally like ASAP for everybody. All right. Appreciate y'all. Let's get it.